As promised, I promised to do a quick breakdown of my setup for last week, the trade I posted, and I've done that of the New Zealand USD already, so you can go back to check that. So this is for the GU. For the GU, this was the setup I posted for GU. I posted two setups last week for GU. That was the Thursday and Friday, and this was the first one I posted, a sell at this point. Let me show you the point on my trade and how many pips I caught. I was able to catch there. So this was the sell I took. I took the sell at this point, and it was just exactly at this my trend line. Yeah, ordinarily I don't trade trend line, but for GU I sometimes trade trend line, and I trade trend line on my gold as well. But my New Zealand USD, I don't trade trend line at all on my New Zealand USD. I trade trend line on my GU and on my gold. Especially for gold, I trade trend line. Let me put it that way. But I don't trade trend line on my New Zealand USD at all. Or I only do that once in a while, depending on my confidence. If it's going to add to my confidence, then yes, I'll take it. So this was the trade I took for GU last week, and my initial TP was to be at this point here. But then when I observed market was ranging around there, I just decided to opt out because I saw news coming in few hours. So I was thinking maybe market was reacting to that news, so I had to stop out here. So this was it here, and these were the few pips I posted before I stopped out. So that is one. That was the first one I took on GU. Now going forward, the second one I took on GU was here, and let me tell you why I took that trade as well. I took that trade here. My target was still around the same point here. My target was to take profit around this my psychology level here, and my stop loss was 15 pips. Yeah, I posted that as well on my platform. I posted the stop loss on my platform. Let me show you where I posted that. GU. I posted setup for GU, and I said stop loss. Oh, my stop loss was 1 times, not 15 pips, 10 pips. I posted 10 pips as my stop loss on GU for that particular setup. Now, these are my reasons for putting setup of for using a stop loss of 10 pips. The reason for using a stop loss of 10 pips was, number one, I saw news coming in, and you know how news reacts. The news will always shake the market. So I was expecting news to respect my analysis, but then the market does not work that way. So, but to just be on the safer side, I decided to use my stop loss of 10 pips because I know it is going to be a bearish market. But you know, the market can be very funny most times. So that was why I just stopped on 10 so that I won't blow off my account. You understand? So at that point, the reason why I took this sell here was I was expecting a hem pattern. There's what we call hem pattern or double top. I was expecting the double top on my GU. So when it gave me the first leg here, I was expecting that price to come back here and start selling off from there. But then I was so fortunate, I got stopped out with 10 pips, which is very little compared to what I've gained on my GU and New Zealand USD. So it was just a good risk anyway. So I got stopped, but eventually the market started selling, basically badly. This was just an impulse move because of the news. So just moving. I had to just stop out, just to leave that market for that day. You understand? But then it would have been a very good one for me. I didn't start selling off from me, but then it didn't sell, but we'll keep moving. So what do I expect for the week? Before analyzing what I expect for the week, let me show you how I take my setup on GU. The way I take my setup on GU is strictly different from that of New Zealand USD. So on my GU, what I look at for is I trade what we call smart money concept. Now let me show you what I mean by smart money concept. Smart money concept is just telling you how price reacts in real life. How price reacts in real life. If you look at this point here, this is my 4 hours time frame anyway. This is my lower low here, and this is my lower high here. This lower low gave birth to this this lower high gave birth to this lower low, then form another lower high. When it formed the lower high, the structure here got broken. So as a smart money concept trader, what I need to look out for is the last buy. Sorry, let me delete something here so that I can explain that word for us. As a smart money concept trader, what last buy before the break of structure. So the last buy here is what I have here. That's on the bearish trend, please. On the bearish trend. not on a bullish trend. On a bearish trend, I need to look at the last buy before the break of structure. So that is where I'm going to take my next sell. I want price to do something. I want price to do this, to break the structure. They come back to this my last buy, and from there I go short. Yeah, I go short again to break the structure. My stop loss on GU is always 20 pips, maximum of 30 pips. But here I'll be going on 30 pips because of the high, because of this level I have, because I want to match up with this level. So now the TP should be around here. Now, why do I always like to take my TP at a very safe level? I don't go too long because I'm not a swing trader, so I'm a day trader, so I don't need to go too long. I don't need to take my profits. I don't need to go deep down before I take my profit. I always take my profit on a downtrend. I take my profit and close to my initial lower low. That's where I take my profits. I don't need to wait to break the structure, because what if it doesn't break the structure? Will I get stopped that? So I don't want to get stopped that at all. So I take my profit around my initial lower low, and which is what I've been able to do at this point. Now going forward, this, let me delete that so I won't be confusing ourselves here. So going forward, this structure, this is my lower low, got broken again to form another lower low here, and why this becomes my new lower high. So what am I looking at for here again? This got broken. Now what is the last buy before the sell? This again is the last buy, this small buy here. Let me zoom in a little bit so we can see clearly. Yeah, so as you can see clearly now, this last buy here gave birth to this break of structure. So that is where I'll be looking at for price to come back to. I want price to come back here and start selling again. So as you can see, it's respected that it broke the structure, came back here and started selling massively again. So next, going forward again, I want price again to come back to this my last buy before the break of structure to the new one. But unfortunately it didn't. But I don't need to bite myself on that. Instead I'll just let it be. So I need to wait for the next one. So this price got broken here, form my new lower low. I was expecting to come back again, but instead it broke. So the moment it broke down, I'm expecting price to come back to my initial buy before the sell. Now this is it here. This is it here. As you can see, price came here trying to touch my initial lower high, but it didn't. Instead it went lower. So at the end, price later came back here and it reacted to it. So let's assume I go short from here. My stop loss would have been 30 pips here, 30 pips, and this would have been my TP. My take profit would have been around there, but unfortunately the market didn't respect my analysis. So instead I had to break even around it. When I saw this bullish candle coming in, I had to run out of the market at that point. So that I broke even here before I got stopped out. Instead of getting stopped out, I broke even. So going forward, let me show you the recent trend of the market now. So this was the recent trend of the market here. The market was going bullish initially, then came here to form a lower low, then coming back here again to give me a double top. The moment I sight this double top, I knew the market is fucking going bullish, bearish. So it came here to give me a lower low here again. From here, let me show you what I mean by the lower low it gave me. This was my lower high, this was my lower high. Then when I sight this double top, I took this as my lower low. The moment it broke down, then retraced a little bit. So let me show you the trade that I took here. This was the trade I took here anyway. A short here. I took a short here, and my stop loss was 30 pips as well. 30 pips, and this was my take profit. So you can imagine this is 110 pips anyway. So that was 110 pips on that kind of trade. So that's massive. That's a massive one here, because it got broken here. I want price to come back and retest. came back here and I went short. So going forward, I was expecting price to come back here again after I broke this my lower low, but fortunately price is yet to come back, so I'm still waiting for price to come back. But the reason why I took this trade here was, one, there's something I always do whenever I'm taking trade. I do what we call coins pair correlation. So I always check what is happening on New Zealand USD, I check on what is happening on gold, and see if it is going to be good for me to sell or buy on the other currency as well. So when I saw that on New Zealand USD and I saw that on gold, let me show you what I saw on gold. But I didn't post that on gold anyway. But let me show you what I saw on gold. I saw it on 15 minutes on gold. That was why I took that sell on GU. Now the moment I saw price coming around here, I knew this has broken. So then I didn't waste my time. I took this trade anyway, I didn't post it. So I took my sell down here, then it retraced back up, and this was a good confirmation for another sell, which as well I took. But I didn't post this on gold anyway last week, but I took the trade. So this point here, this confluence here, gave me the reason to go short at this point. So I had this confluence one, then my setup on gold and my New Zealand USD. So that was why I took the sell, and I took that sell here as explained earlier because of this. So what am I looking out for? What am I looking out for in the coming week? What I'm looking out for in the coming week is I'm looking out for price to do two things. Is either one, give me something like this, come here, bounce down a little, then a double top, after which I go short, or price going lower, then coming back to my initial buy, my last buy before the break of structure. So I'll be expecting price to come back here, then I go short. So those are the things I'm looking out for on my GU. That's on my 4 hours time frame. So I'm expecting, if price breaks below this significantly, let me show you the points. If price breaks below this significantly, I'm expecting price to come back around to somewhere around here to either give me a double top, or I observe it closely before going short, because if not, it might just break above. So I might be expecting a double top around here before going short anyway. But then I want price to break the structure here downward, then come back here, retrace here while I go short again. So that's just my expectations for this week. Either break above to give me a double top here while I go short here, or breaks below, then come back here to my point of interest, then I go short. I call this my order block anyway. I will be explaining this in my subsequent video. That is smart money concept. This is called the order block. But then going forward, that is all I have in my setup for this week and what I'm looking out for in the coming week. Thank you very much. Do have a fruitful week. Thank you.